Oh my gosh, we've got weird new music. We're gonna have to get this figured out.
Be prepared, Scott. Be very scared.
Be really ridiculous. You are now listening to K-Talk Radio. This is PrepperCon Radio every Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m.
Good morning.
And the music just keeps
going. It's going to keep going.
Oh,
hey,
it's off now.
Can you even name that band?
I don't ever want to name that band.
Oh, yes, no.
What retro funk?
You seriously don't know that group was there. Turn it back up a little bit.
It's over now.
It's not over. Is it over? Well, you turned it down all the way. Turn it up. Okay, it's over now. All right.
It's off.
Okay.
I turned off the garbage.
That's Depeche Mode, man.
See? I
thought Depeche Mode was one of your favorite bands.
I told you I hate Depeche Mode.
That's why I put it on here for you.
So he puts it on here. So when we talk about preparedness, we talk about social anarchy, we talk about personal protection, it's this kind of thing that makes me want to build a bunker and hide from everyone. Because Depeche Mode is really like my kryptonite. It's not like my kryptonite. It's more like the rage point that turns me from Bruce Banner into the Hulk. And then I just start smashing things. So, hey everybody, thanks for listening in today. You're listening to K-Talk. We are, I'm Scott, and this is Shane, the prepared guy.
Good morning.
PrepperCon Radio. We're excited. We've got our show coming up in it feels like just a few weeks, but it's coming up quick, a month and a half.
Yeah.
April 15th and 16th. You can get tickets at preppercon.com. That's PREPPERCON as in Nancy.com. Mm-hmm. And we got some really good fun things coming up. I mean, we'll be getting delivery of our hurricane simulator this next week.
Cool.
Which is awesome. So we'll get some video of that and put that on the website and share it on K-Talk as well. K-Talk is one of our sponsors, and we just cannot thank them enough. They have been awesome. They were there last year. They've been with us ever since we started this whole crazy shenanigans of an expo. And it is the coolest expo in the nation. We are the largest preparedness expo. This is the perfect place. If you're trying to figure out how to get prepared, if you are already a seasoned prepper, we've got something for everybody at PrepperCon. And it's bigger this year. It's better this year. We've got celebrities. We've got fun things. We've got the hurricane simulator.
And who's the latest celebrity that you mentioned?
So we've got Kyle Bell.
Okay, cool.
And he's from Mountain Men. Mm-hmm. And he's bringing his son Ben, and they're a lot of fun. They're going to be so much fun. He does a lot of hunting and trapping and tracking. Mm-hmm. And so he'll be talking about those skills and how those are important, not just in the future, but now, how you can start practicing those now. And if you want to, you can actually go down to he's got some land down in New Mexico. And cool. He can take you on some hunts. And he's good. So he'll be there.
Here she is.
We've also got, I guess I shouldn't announce it yet. We've got another survival star in the works. It'll be announced next week. And we're super excited.
Make all the noise you want. You're fine.
And you might have heard some noise in the background. We're excited. We have our guest. She's also going to be at PrepperCon. It's Julie Harmon, Ms. America, the one and only. And your platform is being prepared. The 5 points of preparation is one of your talking points today. But thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being with us and being part of PrepperCon.
And she smells wonderful.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's what you need in the morning.
Yeah, us guys, you probably need to stay away from us in the morning.
So, welcome to the show. My meter's way off here. Now you're used to the media circus. You've been on radio and television and all over the place.
I have since the teens, so it's been about 20 years.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, we're excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your journey. You're a local Utahn. You were Ms. Utah before Ms. America.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that, kind of how you started with this whole journey.
Journey?
Yeah.
Well, I come from a family. My last name's Harmon, so there's a lot of Harmons in Utah.
Okay. So the Harmon Cadillac and so forth?
Harmon KFC, actually. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I have a really good bloodline. And I also come from a family of survivors. So we've moved a lot when I was growing up. Wyoming, Massachusetts, Washington State. Then I've also lived in Idaho, Hawaii, Oregon, and here. So I'm not necessarily a Utah native, but I landed here in 2006. So I'm going on 10 years, which is actually
You're
a
still
really
here?
big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so once I landed here, I was married at the time, and I have 2 young daughters. When we moved here, I was actually 8 months pregnant, so I had to
Whoa.
prepare myself for that. And then I didn't know 2 years later I would wind up 28 and single with a daughter that was 4 and a daughter that was 2.
Wow.
So that was something I wasn't necessarily prepared for, but as I went through it, I realized that I was prepared, actually. I had a college degree, I had a lot of education behind me, I had a lot of knowledge and moves that had prepared me for a lot of change. And so I had to strap on my seatbelt and go for a ride for the next 3-4 years and dedicate myself to creating my own company, and which I created. It's called highstylecompany.com.
So tell us, what does High
So-
Style Company do?
Which led me into pageantry. So High Style Company, it started off as photography because I was a photographer since I was 15. So I used my camera to help me and to build my message, and it took me to places that I needed to be. I started photographing anywhere from portraits and then to events, then to famous people,
Awesome.
musicians, celebrities, historical makers, and especially here in Utah. I realized how cool Utah is as I was to all these events, and and then what was neat about that is that it prepared me for my next phase of life. And then I was led into documentary filmmaking
Okay.
and joined up with a partner, and he taught me a lot about using the camera in a different way. And then I did that a lot, actually, and that led me to telling other people's stories and stories of the heart, and realizing their backstory of their backstory is the most interesting one
Yeah.
to hear. And so that actually led me into consulting work and working with businesses and helping them establish more of a solid foundation on their message and branding and what they were doing and what they were accomplishing. And what I called the heart.
Yeah.
And the heart was the vision, mission, and purpose. And as I went through that experience, I realized, you know what? I really enjoy this. I really enjoy being in the community. I started serving charities just on a regular basis. I started networking my way into the political arena. I started networking into service providers and supporting, fire departments and learning their stories, and just overall just being interested in my community.
Yeah.
And found out that a way to get more out there might be entering a pageant. I was already mentoring some of my friends.
That's awesome. So
Right?
it just kind of happened. This is what it sounds like. You
Natural
just kind of
progression.
It was.
progressed into this.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, not all of us can do that.
Yeah.
Not all of us should do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's wonderful that you found that you took that journey, even though it's not an easy journey. It's a very difficult journey. You took that journey. And now here you are. I mean, we met before you were even Ms. America. And because your platform is preparedness.
Yep.
And for those of you who don't know, Julie was at PrepCon last year. She's actually one of our ambassadors. And we really love what she's doing in the community, both locally and nationally, to help people be more prepared. You do a lot of meetings with schools, tons of press, meet the press type junkets and things like that. How did you decide your platform needed to be emergency preparedness?
I love this. Okay, so the full spectrum is this. About a year and a half ago, when I became Ms. Utah, I had a vision for our country, actually, of becoming more self-reliant. So that platform, or that message that flew through me before I decided to go in pageantry, was I had this idea of a grand America. And a grand America, we're obviously not a united America right now. So I was thinking, what are we in the future? What can we become? And so it was a self-reliant society is what I came up with. And then I decided to go into a pageant because I thought, well, it's still a respectable way of getting out into the community. If I were to do this for my community, it was more about them than me. And I knew that I could do it. So as I became Ms. Utah, I used that as my platform. It was agrandamerica.com. And then cultivating a self-reliant society. And the threefold message is this. It's be prepared, be responsible, a focus on self-reliance. So it's actually 3 parts.
Yeah.
And the reason for me to have 3 parts is as you become more prepared and personally responsible, you essentially become a better citizen of society because you're more self-reliant than relying
Absolutely.
on others around you to take care of you. And so as I was going through all my experiences and my, the difficulties that I experienced as a new single mom, as someone that I had to, who was there for me without, having a family base. And there's a lot of people that are experiencing that in the last, 5, 6, 7 years. A lot of people have become divorced. Many people have tried to figure out what their solid ground is. So as I competed, I met you because right after I became Miss Utah, I was like, what events are happening in Utah that are about preparedness? And you're the first one to come up. And so, so what was in November of 2014?
Yeah.
Is when I reached out to your team and I email blasted you and couldn't wait to meet you because I loved what you represented, what PurpleCon was about. And then, as I went through Miss Utah experience, I just continued to do what I was already doing.
Yeah.
And so there's 5 areas of focus that I served, and it's service providers, political arena, education, charities, and businesses.
Yeah.
So it's not just one charity that I
Right.
serve.
It's a whole group and a whole conglomerate. And I love that because it's really what community is. There's no such thing as just one type of community. And within the community, there's so many different groups that you're serving, that we're all trying to serve and be part of. But there's a delicate balance, and you have to respect each one of those, especially when you start thinking about preparedness and about how to help them through crisis.
Yes.
And I think what's absolutely fantastic about your platform is that you're reaching out to people who wouldn't typically think about emergency preparedness or self-reliance. They're just they are involved in the fashion world.
Yes.
They are involved in I don't know what
TV.
I guess-
exactly
Yeah.
TV and media
Yep.
and so forth, where
Yep.
they're not necessarily digging into a more, I wouldn't say more important, I won't say that, but a
Deep message.
a deeper,
it is.
exactly,
Mhm.
more meaningful message.
And,
Yeah.
and just to touch on that really fast, like I go out to LA and I was at LA Fashion Week, several months ago. And as they interview me, I get to share this message. And I'm on the red carpet, I'm at a fashion event, for breast cancer awareness and things like that. I'm like, well, were you prepared for breast cancer? Were you, it really literally threads throughout every single facet of society.
Yep.
So it's an easy topic to talk about. And it's not just emergency preparedness, it's for every day too.
How well received would you say that you are in that type of an environment?
Well, it is kind of a smack in the face. So what do you mean being prepared? What does that mean? So at first it was a little hard for me because I had to engage with something that they weren't used to hearing about.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of lightly brushstroke and then get deeper and go, look, do you have what it takes to survive? Do you have what you need every day? And they're just like, wait, what? I didn't really think of that.
Yeah. We're actually coming up on a break here in a second, but I think it's interesting that you bring that point up, that for some people it is a smack in the face. And with preparedness, a lot of our friends, a lot of our family, they're not ready for that conversation, or they're avoiding it intentionally. And so, we do have to have that tough conversation. And I think when we get back from the break, I think what we need to do is kind of focus a little bit on what you're doing next, talk a little bit about your 5 points of preparedness. But I know... before the break, tell us real quick, where are you speaking next? You're going to be doing a speaking engagement tomorrow?
Yes, a huge one tomorrow night in Bountiful. It's going to be at South Davis Middle School. And I was going to try to find the address there. But it's going to be a packed house. And it's at between 7 and 8 o'clock. And there's hundreds to show up. So if you want to come and hear more, then please come. It's really going to be an awesome event. And the news will cover it as well.
Awesome. We'll be right back. You're listening to K-Talk Radio, and we've got our special guest, Julie Harmon, Ms. America, and, of course, Scott and Shane are here all the time. So tune in. We'll be right back.
Hello. Thanks for
Go right ahead. He doesn't like Depeche Mode. I love Depeche Mode.
Oh,
I disdain.
just name Depeche Mode.
I think he had some that was so into Depeche Mode that she had posters all over her whole room.
Yeah.
of Depeche
You are a
Mode.
dynamic
Somehow
team
tortured
player with
with
knack for marketing,
repetitive
public relations,
blasting
or media.
of
We
probably
want
Personal
you.
Jesus, which is one of my least
K-Talk is
favorites.
Utah's
Probably
own
blast
remaining
with that song
independent
and
talk
just
station. We are the Voice of Utah and are home to a number of local
It's
hosts,
a whiny
topics, formats, styles, and opinions.
It is.
that
It's
vary
darkish.
greatly as the
Yeah.
people who live here. We are looking to promote the partner with our show and to
Oh, that's
actively seek out
funny.
businesses
You're
and
ruining
content
Depeche Mode for me now.
build
Good.
relationships
So
that add
good.
value to
I
both
should.
our station and their
If you're
companies.
prepared, you
create
shall not
strong,
listen to the
Okay,
podcast.
next week, all erasure.
You will
We'll
be
do all
crucial
erasure.
in developing
How much time do you have,
roles in our
Scott, this next
community.
segment?
We've got at least 10
Back
minutes.
to
Okay.
businesses
Because
throughout
I can go
Utah.
through these, but these are like
Experience in
really.
marketing,
I
sales,
want
or
them
media
to,
is a
whoever's
plus.
listening, I want them to go
Send
away.
your resume to
Okay.
Daryl at
Yeah.
Like solid.
k-talk.com to be considered for this exciting opportunity.
Yeah. And I think
Again,
if we can focus on the takeaway,
k-talk.com.
and then we'll transition out.
Hi, this is Alan Blood with Capital
Becky Brown
Financial
coming
Group. With home values increasing and low rates still available, now is the
When
perfect
does she
time to
come on?
refinance your home. Capital
she'll get
Financial
here
Group,
around
we have loan
9:30-ish.
programs to fit your
Okay.
refinance needs,
Okay.
whether you want to
We'll
pull cash
overlap.
out from your home,
So,
increase
then we'll
your
bring
interest
her
rate
on
and monthly
air for the
payment,
last
or just
segment.
reduce your loan to a 15-year payoff.
So-
We have programs that will help
We
you
really have
refinance
had some
even if your
deep
income or
combos.
credit is less
Right.
than it
We
used to
know,
be, or
yeah,
if you're
we
underwater
know
on your
we're
mortgage. Instead of getting lost in the shuffle of a big bank or paying high fees at a credit union, call us. We'll help you refinance with the best
Really good.
rates
Check
and lowest
that.
closing
I saw
costs
that.
for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah,
may
she
even
was
qualify
gone.
for one
Well,
of
I
our
was
no
texting
closing
her.
cost loans. Call me today,
She's
Alan
like,
Blood,
go through
at
customs,
801-298-5887 to start saving money on
I'm like,
your
where the hell are you going?
801-298-5887.
She's a world traveler. She just finished film festival.
Awesome.
If you're between the ages of 50 and 75 and want to never outlive your retirement savings, pay attention. We have moved $4 billion into these retirement plans in the past 4 years.
know, it
That's
just
right,
didn't happen.
$4
Seriously.
billion. Do you like
It's
that?
like-
The annual
much too
payouts
fancy
will
for-
amaze you. Grab the peace of mind you
Oh,
deserve.
he's fancy. Get used to it.
Run out of income
No.
during retirement.
No, I can
Call
get in the camo, I can get in the whatever.
800-517-6172.
Yeah.
That's
I have things- well, I have things stacked up, so I have to-
800-517-6172.
I have to just
800-517-6172.
be ready for whatever I'm doing the rest of the day.
Seriously?
Are you freaking
Turn it up,
kidding me?
turn it
This
up.
is Carpenters.
Hey, no, turn it back up. Turn it back up. Come on.
Hey, welcome back to PrepperCon Radio. I've got Shane's mic off because he put the worst song in the world.
You can't.
My
do that
mom
to
listened
me.
to that song
Turn-
every day in my childhood.
Turn it back up for a second. Let the listeners.
I'm turning your mic
Okay,
on.
turn my mic on. Let the listeners enjoy the music. They love this
This
kind of
is
stuff.
talk radio.
Yeah,
This isn't music
a
radio.
little bit of
This is
music,
talk
just a little
radio.
bit. Turn up just a
Ladies
little.
and gentlemen,
My
you have
goodness, I
just
won't even-
entered the apocalypse. Look, it's on. Are you happy?
It's the Carpenters.
I
Who
understand.
doesn't love the Carpenters?
You're
I
looking
love the
at him.
Carpenters, so
So-
listen to them on their record.
This is the worst. I thought we were friends. I'm going to have to banish you from my life. I share with
Yeah, you
people
wouldn't do
things that I like and things that I dislike. And this is what your so-called friend does, is take everything you dislike in music and sneak behind your back
Hey,
And
I
put it-
didn't
wait,
do this
I'm
by
not done.
myself. Sorry.
and put it on your program without you knowing and sabotage you. This is what you need to prepare for, people. You need to prepare for musical backlash and backstabbing by your best friends. You cannot, this is not made up, this is real.
I did not do this by myself.
It was,
I had some help
You
with
had
this, and
cohorts.
she was completely on board with this.
You two just need to brawl it out, get it over with, and give me the mic.
we're gonna sign up for a self-defense class, and I'm gonna put Shane in full gear and beat the tar out
Well,
of him.
he's got a few pounds on me.
I've got about 80
I'm a little
pounds on
scared. A little scared.
That's mostly fat, so
So I had
do not
a
throw my weight around.
question for Julie here, real quick, before we get going.
Yeah, please.
You're gonna be at PrepperCon,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What can we do to get you to come as a zombie Miss USA, Miss America?
wow, really?
A zombie Miss
No,
America.
no. Be
I
nice to
can't,
her.
man. I
You
can't.
absolutely
She's
Can't
got
do
to
it.
crown. She's got to.
I
can
gotta
still wear
show
the crown.
people that, you know, there's still gonna be peace, even
can
though there's
still-
gonna be zombies around.
You can still wear the
I
crown.
represent the zombie. I represent a woman who is passionate about
We'll
preparedness.
have a nice tattered dress made for you.
No,
Just not the makeup. I might
you're
do
no
the
longer
dress.
Party
in charge of music. You are no longer in charge of anything.
Hey, it's fine with me. I don't make any money doing this anyway.
Me
so.
neither.
There are leaders in the group.
All right, you guys are listening to K Talk Radio, AM 630. If you're having trouble hearing us, download the app. Get it on your phones, both Android and iPhone. Works really great. You can tune in anywhere. We actually have listeners all over the world, which is amazing.
I
For
love it.
as little of a radio station as this appears to be, it's huge. And we want to thank our special guest, Julie Harmon, Ms. America, local Utah resident, amazing person. Her platform is preparedness. And I want to jump into some of your points of preparedness, because I think that's a great takeaway for people to really appreciate and get something out of. And you're going to be talking about this again tomorrow night in depth, right?
Yes, I am. Absolutely. It is a deep message, and it does take a while to go through it. So I wish they gave me 5 hours instead of 1 hour to talk, but that's just how I am.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the first. Well, give me the list, and then
Okay.
let's jump into a couple of these before we have to cut out.
Absolutely. So about a year and a half ago, I was inspired by this content. This is not something that I just pulled out of nowhere. I've been building this for about a decade of experiences, and it really does, as well as mentors in my life that I've interviewed. So the 5 points, I love the number 5. It's a power number, and you have 5 fingers on your hand, so hopefully you can remember 5.
There you go.
So, if you have 5 fingers, that is. So the first one is, it's A through E. Even my own little 8-year-old, 9-year-old recognized that it was A through E. So A through E is, first is act responsibly. Number 2 is be informed. Number 3 is create a plan. 4 is decide and deploy. And 5 is encourage others. And so it also has a progression, if you can notice, act responsibly, be informed, create a plan, decide and deploy, and encourage others is kind of a progression as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think the first thing a lot of people forget about is information.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much information out there. Where do you recommend people get the best information? Act responsibly, but you really can't act fully responsibly until you start getting more information. Right?
Yeah.
It's a progression. They
Yeah,
kind of
so
work
first
together.
of all, you have to have that feeling in your heart, though, that you actually want to be a responsible citizen.
Okay.
If you don't, you're not going to act and go find information.
Okay.
You're just not going to care.
Okay.
And that is the first point of this whole issue, is that we need more people to care about, and when I bring up the word responsibility, I kind of say response-ability, like as though it's 2 words.
Yeah.
It's our ability to respond. And as we have more information in our lives, more education, the education piece is actually how we become more prepared. Because what is preparedness? It's the ability to bring in information into our lives, or education, tools, resources, and act on them and use them, right? So that's exactly what preparedness is.
So on your website, your personal website, do you have resources or a way for people to contact you to set up speaking engagements or trainings? Or tell us what you have available for them.
Okay, so as we go through this, and I can get back to these other ones, right?
Yes,
okay.
we will.
Okay, get back to the other points in a second. So yes, right now and in the future, everything is building as a process. So I know that I don't have all the resources and all the answers. I am a tool to get people to involve me in their messages, and then I'm an advocate. So I'm kind of a middle person. Like, I was talking to the police department last night from Bountiful, who's actually collectively bringing me into their world and into their environment of all these preparedness people and interested in the subject. Hopefully there'll be about 500 there. And he said to me, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being an advocate and speaking on our behalf, because we need you. We need you to get this message out to the public. So that my website, actually, let me go backwards a little bit. It was agrandamerica.com. In my opinion, that message that I built a year ago was too big. It was like having people drink from a fire hose, which I know is not going to happen. So I changed it a little bit, and I created a new website that's called thepowerofliberty.com. The Power of Liberty.
I love that.
Because
Thepowerofliberty.com.
Yep.
Okay.
If we need liberty in our life, we need responsibility and we need preparedness in order to truly become self-reliant society.
Awesome.
So thepowerofliberty.com is my new website. Not everything is quite there yet, but it will be, because there's a lot coming at me from every direction, and I'm super excited to be an advocate.
Yeah, I love it.
So it's a work in progress, much like all of us. I mean, we're always working on improving ourselves.
Yep.
And that's where, act responsibly, start working on it.
Yep.
Start taking initiative. Number 2, be informed.
So be informed is incredibly important in my opinion, because I think that's where people stop. They get scared because they don't know exactly what to do. And they don't take action in their lives in order to be informed. And so where to find the materials. I do want to be a place where they can get that information, but I also want to encourage them to reach out to other people to gather that information. In order to, number 3, create a plan. Creating the plan is an action item that most people don't even get to. They don't create a plan. They don't know where to go. And so most cases, they will be reactionary. And that's where proactivity and preparedness is so important, because most people are reactionary. They're like, oh, I'll deal with it when it comes, right? You get that all the time. I do too. And it stinks to be in that situation when it's actually in your life, in your face, no matter what it is. You'd rather have the tools necessary in order to take care of yourself in that given situation.
Yeah,
Right?
and I think one of the biggest things is not just write down the plan, create the plan, but put it somewhere you can see it and then
Yes.
practice it a lot. And I love that you have that in here.
I do, actually. A quick, fast story. My own sister, is a little older than me. She's about 6 years older. And she lived through the Tokyo earthquake when
wow.
it hit.
Okay.
With 6 kids.
Whoa.
Okay? It was crazy. And so I talked to her again yesterday to get the details of her experience. And she is a woman that was prepared. Her entire family was prepared. They had a plan. They went through it. The number one thing they said was, if in the event that an earthquake hits, they said the first thing is, and to tell their kids this, because they had the conversation before the earthquake came, they said, we will not be able to communicate with you. So don't plan on that. And they couldn't. That was the first thing. And these kids are in school. My niece and nephew were on the street buying water when it hit. My brother-in-law was in a high-rise in Tokyo when it hit. My sister was at home with a new baby in the crib when it hit.
Oh,
I mean, right? We can all kind of remember where we were when 9/11 hit. And so my sister, thinking about this earthquake and what she lived through, as I interviewed her again yesterday, she goes, Julie, I woke up this morning thinking about you. And I'm glad I called, because I said, do you realize what I'm doing in 2 days? I'm getting on stage and I'm talking about this message and I'm bringing you up. And so she went again through all the reactionary items that she did. And I was so glad, because they were all my points of preparedness. And
That's so cool.
And I told her this stuff, and I said, well, good. I'm glad I check mark. I'm glad I'm covering these topics that you yourself went through.
Awesome.
Yep.
So that is just so cool. The thing I love about this is you're actually taking real scenarios, real life, and
Yes.
applying it backwards, I guess. Reverse engineering your plan is what it sounds like.
Yep.
How you did this. So now we've got, acting responsibly, being informed, creating a plan. What's step number 4?
So step number 4 is decide and deploy. Now, I like the word deploy, and I kind of tried to figure out which word I was going to use, but deploy is kind of like a military word, and it's something that we need to recognize and realize in every area and aspect of our lives, that we are making those quick decisions. Something my sister told me yesterday was, Julie, even though we had a plan, we were in panic mode. Like, we had to actually act on that plan in stressful situations and be resourceful, and that is what we call resilience. It's like being able to act in any kind of chaotic situation, or even in small situations. If you do a self-check. If you feel like that you are stressed out because of small things, just can imagine what you would be like in big, crazy scenarios when people aren't there for you and you have to act on your own resources and your own tools. Are you a person that is stressed out, or can you act in resilience mode where other people know your plan, they're there for you, and if they're not there for you, you're there for yourself? It's
Absolutely.
very important to understand how you make decisions.
Well, if you don't have a plan, you're more likely to panic anyways. Right?
Very true, because preparedness also, this is why I love this message so much. Don't we want more peace in our lives?
Mm-hmm.
Don't we want to feel like we're not living in a world of chaos? Partly why we live in this world of chaos and this division is because we're not a prepared people on a grand scale.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we don't have if we don't have personal peace in our lives, it's probably suggesting that we need to do something about ourselves to create more peace and create a better plan.
And absolutely, and my thought is being under control.
Yes.
My life, if I'm not under control, I feel chaotic. I'm out of touch, and so this plan seems to me to create for me that level of control, that I feel comfortable in any situation.
Absolutely. And check yourself with your self-control as well. Do you react with your rationality, or you Are you rational? Are you controlled? Like you said, that's a very good word to use because so much we see in the media is irrational. It's just erratic. It's like, you know, and where's the personal responsibility, you know, and respect? Where's the self-respect? You know, it's really important that we don't just watch what's in the media or other things that are out there but reflect on ourselves and how we react. We don't have to pattern after everything that we see.
Right.
We can be different from that. And we as a people can, as a community, unite. We can, and we will. You know, it's very, very important. And that's particularly what this message is about, too.
Awesome.
I think that's the most important aspect is working together as a community. We talk about that, you know, the lone wolf is just not going to survive. You have to come together as a community and work together through these, in particular, emergencies, but when it comes to the ultimate emergency of, you know, when we talk about it on a regular basis, SHTF or whatever we want to call it.
Well, I think to marry that point is, as a community, you know, each of us has different skill sets, which under number 4, decide and deploy,
Yep.
you know, talks about what you know you can handle,
Right.
what you know you can do. Those skill sets, those assets you have, are absolutely important
Yep.
in helping to take care of that community.
Yep.
And everyone's going to have different skill sets, and that's what makes it so great. Is as we're all better prepared, we can actually deploy quicker and respond faster and better, and save more lives.
I want to just really fast add to that. One last point that my sister made about Tokyo is that they did have everything they needed. They acted upon their inspiration and did have everything they needed in their home. Lastly, they had a crowbar, and that was one thing that they were inspired by a local leader to get. It's not like you can go to a local Lowe's to go get a crowbar in Tokyo, right? But they did. And that's the one thing that truly saved them, because all their documents were stuck in a safe that they couldn't get into because of the debris and everything. So they had to peel back the layers of the safe in order to get their documents, their passports, everything out of it so they could get out. So, but the other point is they could only take so much with them. They had to leave everything. They left their entire home with all their emergency preparedness stuff, their food, their water, everything that they had personally prepared for themselves, and left and gave the community the key. And then they said that everything was used. They had tons of stuff. I know my sister. She had tons of stuff. And everything was used, and she never got to go back to her own home. Never once.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Get a crowbar.
Yeah, get a crowbar. Yeah, you never know when you're going to need it. So
Got one in my truck right now.
it's really important. And things shift, and if it's in a case of an emergency for an earthquake, things shift. So you have to be able to get in and out.
Absolutely.
So, and then make sure that number 5, is encourage others. That's really a big point. As we know, this is something that it's not just for us; it's for everyone around us. I will be speaking in more schools. I've actually created a really cool concept for children to be more prepared in schools, and I brought it to one of my dear friends who owns a preparedness company. I found her because of a dear friend of 5 years ago that invited me to meet his sister and said, you need to know her. And it's about connections, right? It's about putting people together.
Well, we are running out of time. Thank you again for being here. If you want to learn more, you can check out our website. One more time, what's the website?
thepowerofliberty.com.
And she'll be speaking tomorrow night in Bountiful. Check it out. Join us. We'll be back right after this break and a short message from our sponsors.
With a little bit of Josh Grover.
He sabotaged your music. Depeche Mode, Carpenters.
Having some fun.
I think he did it for me. He did it for me because I like the music.
That's a perfect exit for you, isn't it? Or you think Kristen for putting
I think
that
he was
right
thinking
there.
of me, Scott. He wasn't thinking of you. I'm sorry. No, I just apologize.
Kids in the box.
I warned him. I warned him
Yeah,
about
the
this.
KOTV. Heck yeah, that was my first ever concert in Boston.
His warning
My
was,
first ever.
oh, they didn't put in the new music. You're going to really like it.
Oh, just kidding. Stop.
We'll see what's in for the next 2 breaks.
I love you. I miss you.
Where's your crown?
It's in the box.
Design your own shirts.
Put my perfect on coat on.
Online design.
I don't know if I should.
Our website
What do you
has
want?
tons of fonts and amazing artwork.
And our team of professional inkers will make sure your shirts turn out perfectly. Order one shirt or
I do have to take one with
on-time
just
delivery is
one
guaranteed,
at least
and
with
we'll
my
ship
sash
your
on.
order
For
absolutely
my
free.
Start designing your custom
my
t-shirts
public.
and see why 99% of customers say they would order from us again. Visit
I don't know, y'all send it
custom.com.
to me. Doesn't have to take 20 pictures.
The University
Okay.
of Utah in Salt Lake City is hiring an assistant professor. The assistant professor in the Honors College
No, I'm excited. I'm waiting for her to get her sash on. Don't want to mess up her
to
sash.
be intellectually
Alright.
adventurous and provide them with a
I was
common
gonna do the
honors
whole deal, but I guess
experience,
I will.
plus honors thesis
It matches
mentoring
your
and
voice.
other efforts in support of student success. This position requires a PhD
There you
in
go.
English, history, or philosophy, and evidence of successful teaching at the university level, as well as experience with curricular development and mentoring of undergraduate humanities
Thanks for
majors.
bringing this
The
lady
ability
into my
to
life,
teach
'cause you're
transnational
You're welcome.
issues in the history of technology and literature, and have evidence of a major journal publication. Qualified applicants must submit a cover letter addressing teaching and research interests, as well
Perfect.
as how you would enrich
Thank you.
honors,
For yours.
languages,
Yay,
liberal
mine.
arts
Oh, good.
education.
Yeah, just
I love all your
over here.
points. I'm like,
So-
no, I have nothing. Oh, good. No, not at all.
Cindy Brager,
So-
Good talking
1975, Utopia
Okay, so I'm done, but can I sit here?
Of course, yeah, hang out.
$2 blooded capital. Home values increase and low rates still available. Now is the perfect
Did it work?
time to refinance your home. Capital Financial Group, we have loan
Oh,
programs
great.
to fit your
Oh, I
needs.
love it.
Whether you want to pull cash out for your home, decrease
Okay.
your interest rate, and monthly
So let's have you sit
or
over
just
here.
reduce your loan to
So you want to stay about
We have programs
Okay, what?
that help you
Just
with
2 inches,
your
yeah, 3 fingers from the mic.
Take it
underwater while
to.
you're working.
And
Instead
Scott
of
will
lost
adjust
in
the
the shuffle of a big bank, paying
Yeah.
high fees at a credit union.
How are you?
Well,
I know, good to see
Best
you.
rates and low interest.
absolutely.
You may
Yeah, it's been
qualify
probably
for
the
one of our
since
no
we built it
closing
originally.
offers.
Well,
Call
Yeah, yeah.
At 801-298-5887. Start saving money on
Here,
your
before we
mortgage.
start.
See what comes in, see what we have next.
Okay.
And
Music.
eleven.
Oh, freaking throw them through the window.
Wait, who's choosing the music?
I did.
Do you have NKOTB lined up?
NKO.
It's on the blog.
Oh!
You gotta do it.
Okay.
You gotta do it for me, please. This
Well,
is
we
my
can't-
first
we can't put
actual.
it in.
I can't do it right now, I just have to have Chris.
I think it's so funny that you bring that up. You are my BF. Serious. You got to. I know he's
And Michael
Bublé. And Michael Bublé.
We love Michael Bublé.
Scott's in my journey right now.
And I
You
love-
gotta throw in something.
I've got.
You're sick about it. All right, tell us your favorite band.
I don't have
Scott would like that. I gotta play stuff that he doesn't like.
many different types of music.
Wait, he would like that song?
He would probably like that song.
okay.
So I've been playing stuff that he.
Are you a country fan or do you like
country.
rock?
I like rock.
Okay,
I
I'm not
like
playing country.
I got
I
one
like Tim McGraw, I
mosquito
like
bite
Pink,
on my
I like-
cruise. See, I
Very-
totally nailed it. You don't like alternative?
I
don't think I do, 'cause I
Alternative
don't
is
think
good. I just can't stand the petrol.
Yeah, I think so.
Like Erasure.
Yeah, you might get flu or something.
It's okay.
Here we go. Okay, turn it up. Turn it up.
It is up.
No, the mics. Turn the mics up.
Oh, I'm not turning you up.
You can send me that. Wait, are you able to hear how I hear
Yeah.
on here?
Was that your
So if I'm
Yeah, all
too
we have
loud, you
is-
can say back up or
Yeah,
whatever.
just watching the videos too. And you can kind of watch it if you're spiking it red.
So I don't. Oh, you just press the button on the back?
I'm hoping that
And
by
then you
turning
press it
down
again
this
to turn it
music,
back
you don't
on,
have
so
to
I
be
bet.
subjected to it,
Oh,
as
come
I am.
on.
I've just turned it down, and I'm not turning
You're not
Shane
turning
on
your mic
yet
up either. Look at it.
because I'm so ticked. Yes, I'm smiling,
Turn the mic
but
up.
inside my heart is beating a million miles an hour, and my blood pressure is rising.
Well,
Are
you
we
turn,
live?
you turn
And the
Becky's
only
mic
thing-
down too.
The only thing that's going to help
Just
now
turn your mic down.
is to listen to Becky Brown talk about her amazing knowledge and experience in food
I'm
storage.
guessing we're live.
We're live. So, I want to thank our last guest, Julie Harmon was here, Ms. America. You can listen to her speaking tomorrow night up in Bountiful. Check out our website for more details. But we've also got another special guest today, good friend, another good friend, Becky Brown, with Grab and Go Food Storage.
Doomsday Prepper.
Former Doomsday Prepper TV show superstar.
Once a doomsday prepper, always a doomsday prepper.
Once a Doomsday Prepper, always a Doomsday Prepper. Let's have you move a little closer to the mic because I don't think they
Okay.
can pick you up. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And all of a sudden she's shy.
No, I'm not shy. I'm just trying to still get the honey off between my fingers.
There you go.
Never make a mistake of eating a piece of toast with peanut butter and honey on your way here.
There you go. Now
It
we know.
makes for a really
While you're
interesting drive.
So let's talk about you. Let's talk about Grab and Go Food Storage. Kind of how how did you jump into the industry? I know you've been self-reliant your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But you were going, I mean, you went to school at BYU, and then you went to school at LDS Business College.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden now you have this food storage company, and you're a Doomsday prepper, and tell us how that happened.
So I was attending LDS Business College and ended up needing to do a capstone class. And in that capstone class, I thought of food storage. I did some sales with another company and thought, oh, I could do that, and I could do it better, and I could fix some things along the way. So I needed to think of something fast, and I thought, well, I'll just jump into that. I know the suppliers, and I'd done a lot of research for about 6 months. So the supplier said, look, I'll help you start your business, and I'll give you the product on consignment, and I'll support you in all of your business channels and ideas that you have.
And this is before your appearance on Doomsday?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And so with a wink and a prayer, my parents and my sister flew out and helped me drive with a U-Haul full of food storage to Denver to an expo.
Goodness. Okay.
And we had a really good show. We sold a fair amount. And Nat Geo, National Geographic Channel, was there, and they casted me for the show.
Oh,
And
wow.
they came in, they chased me down for 2 full days trying to get an interview from me because other vendors that knew me said that I had a bubbly personality and I'd be perfect for their show and all of that, but that's what a theater degree does for you, I guess.
There you go. So is everything that they depict on Doomsday Preppers the reality for you?
Good question.
Because they made you look a little bit
What do
like
you
a
think?
gun-toting,
What do you think?
little crazy, but also very prepared.
The amazing thing is that things change after you sign a massive contract. Let's just put it that way.
There you go. So it's not all bells and whistles.
No, it's a lot of reality TV. Really isn't reality,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I figured.
You have a bunch of producers in a building in New York who've never shot a gun and don't know anything about what you're doing, and so it's skewed from the beginning. But something good came of it. You know, it put me through the last couple of years of school, and I was able to help a lot of people get prepared, and I'm still doing it. So
Awesome. So that's the start of your business. That's the start of your
yes,
stardom as a celebrity,
yeah, right.
local Utah celebrity. And you're all about preparedness. You're also all about film. I know you do work with the Utah Film Festival. That just happened.
The Sundance
Why do they call it
Film
Utah? Sundance,
I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't know about that one. No, Sundance
Yeah,
Film Festival.
Sundance.
Yeah, I just finished my 13th year with them.
That is
So-
awesome. Well, good job there. So tell us what's so cool about food storage. I know you've done research like crazy, but why is this solution that you've come up with? I mean, because yours is all in buckets.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that's a better way than just the boxes or the big number 10 cans? Or what drew you to that method opposed to other methods?
Well, it was not just my research, but it was also the practicality of it. 3 years ago, my parents lost their house in Canada in a house flood, and nothing, and I will repeat, nothing survived except my buckets of food storage I gave them.
Wow.
The cans of food all rusted out, and everything inside was soggy.
Wow.
Their house was like pouring with water, and they were out of the country for a couple months helping my sister move in Texas, and they came back and the ceilings had fallen and everything, and it was from a little tiny bathroom pipe on the 3rd floor, and it burst when there was an ice storm for a day after it froze, and everything was ruined. Everything was gone. And the only thing, and my mom got some video of it on her camera, which I've yet to see, but she got video of it on her camera of really showing that only the buckets food storage survived. You know, the insurance company made her give them up and replace them, just because they had to take all the food and everything out legally. But after that experience, I knew that it was
That you had something
tested.
good.
Yes, in a real situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, proving grounds. That's awesome. We actually have a caller. Let's take a call real quick. Hello, you're live on K-Talk. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I didn't know I was live. I'm sorry.
We've got you on air. What question do you have for us?
I have a flyer about your show I'm a program director for a non-profit organization that helps grandparents that are raising children. And I was trying to contact you in regards to your show. I'm not even familiar with what topic you're discussing right now. I apologize.
No problem. Let's take you off the air then. I want to put you on hold, and we'll be right back with you while we talk to Becky about food storage. Okay, that is hilarious. So yeah, the call-in line, if you want to talk on air, is 801-254-5855.
We don't accept telemarketers on this phone line.
So yeah, if
Julie's
you're calling
gonna call
for
me
another
from the hallway
reason,
right now.
we'll route you to the right person. But yeah, our call-in line, 801-254-5855. We're here with Becky Brown, former Doomsday Prepper, always a Doomsday Prepper, and owner of Grab and Go Food Storage. So your buckets worked. I mean, they're the only thing that stay dry.
They are.
And they're sealed. Now, in the food, how's it packaged? Like, tell us about.
They're freeze-dried and dehydrated meals, and it's made at an organic facility. So it is, I can honestly say that it's the healthiest food storage in the industry. And they're packaged in triple mylar bags and inside of square buckets. And with a lid that seals on top, but everything is individually packaged. 4 or 5 servings per pouch. And so if you only wanted to use one to try it, you could Ziploc it up and it would last a year. If you had a family and wanted to try it for dinner, I mean, I've tested it with roommates and my niece and nephews and family members and everything. And it's easy, we live in a world of convenience. So we want things that are easy. And in an emergency situation, just like Julie was saying, you panic when something happens if you're not prepared. Even if you are prepared, you still panic.
Yeah.
And so there's that moment of, what do I do? What's the most important thing? So even if you can just grill it into your brain, water, food, shelter, safety.
I think there's definitely a need for freeze-dried and dehydrated foods because, sure, have your bulk grains and so forth, but sometimes you need really quick meals made that are very tasty, that your kids can eat, that are made very quickly and easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think the nice thing too is because I've got some of your food storage. I've got a lot of different kinds of food storage. And I like having that mixture because sometimes you want to shake things up a little bit. But also, the best thing I think I found about yours is how easy it is to deploy. Kind of jumping back on Julie's number 4 is to deploy. Part of it is to deploy. It's so easy to deploy these meals. We didn't get to the store. We had a flood in our house this last weekend. Well, it's been going on for 4 months, and we just found it. In the walls, woo! Mold and fun stuff to deal with, so we're remediating that. But we were in crisis mode, tearing stuff out, trying to track this pipe down. And the funniest thing is we didn't have time to go to the grocery store, and we ran out of milk. And so Sunday morning rolls around, I pour my bowl of cereal, and I open the fridge, and I'm like, oh, there's no milk. And I go, oh wait, there's more. So I hurried and I go grab my grab and go bucket, and I knew there's instant milk in there. Made it up. It wasn't cold right away, so I just dealt with warm milk for the morning, but it worked. It was great. And then later that afternoon, I'm having a nice glass of cold milk, and I love milk. And couldn't have done that had I not had food storage. And that's not a major crisis.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me being selfish and wanting cereal in the morning, and not
shopping on Sunday.
And not shopping on Sunday. So I think food storage has more than just one use of disasters. I actually had the stroganoff this week out of your meals. Good stuff. But I noticed there's no meat product in any of your food storage. Why is that?
Because food storage, when it's freeze-dried and dehydrated in these bags, in these Mylar bags, has a longer shelf life without the meat. So the company who supplies it for me doesn't process any meat in their facility. So it's kind of an all or nothing thing when it's approved, through the authorities. And so they decided not to have meat at their facility. But the companies that do put meat in their products, once you open it, you have about a 3 to 5 day window of time to eat it before you're screwed, really.
Okay. Before it degrades enough that you shouldn't be eating it.
Or get a really bad upset stomach or something because, the air is hitting it and everything changes.
Gotcha. So it's important to have sounds like whatever your food storage solution is, it's important to have it packaged correctly. It's important to have it portable, and it's important to have it so it actually lasts long enough.
Right.
And that's why I think I love your product. Now, if someone's interested in your stuff, where do they go to find it?
grabandgoindustries.com.
Okay. And do you have any special coupons or promotions for people right now?
We do. We're doing the 20% off deal, and I believe the promo code is KTalk. I sent it to you last night, Scott.
Yep.
Was that right?
That's what I've got.
Okay.
So KTalk, KTALK, no hyphens, no dashes, nothing, just KTalk, and that gives us 20. You said 20% off.
Yes.
Awesome. And so now, okay, you're continuing on. You've got your company, Grab and Go Food Storage. It looks like you've also got solar on here. You've got emergency backpacks and kits.
Yeah, that light energy stuff is awesome.
Yes, we have generators, we have solar kits, we have everything that you would need to get prepared. And so 20% off is a really good deal, folks. Get in
Because
there
your
and get it.
prices per serving, I mean, it's less than $1 per serving to start with.
Yes, and when I started that, I literally had other companies come up to me at my first show and say, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You're really killing us." So some of the big companies that now have a $3 million marketing budget a year, I decided not to put that cost onto the consumer and still make it a little bit profitable by making it less than $1 a serving for the customer.
That's awesome. Well, we love what you're doing. We appreciate you being on today. I know it's kind of a short segment, but food storage is one of the most important things when you're getting prepared. And we're out of time. I guess commercials are already rolling.
And you can no longer use your phone.
Sweet. Okay, we're going to switch over. Thank you for being on with us today. We're out of time. We're going to have to go talk to the producer and get this all figured out. But check out grabandgoindustries.com. Thanks for listening to PrepperCon Radio.
Thanks for coming.